Today on Wedding Wednesday, we're going to be talking about your wedding day timeline. What's up, everybody? My name is Jason from Night Owls Media and For Love Films, and today on Wedding Wednesday, we're going to be talking about your wedding day timeline. What goes into it? How important is it? And working with a videographer, how much time do they actually need to make a really great film of your wedding day? Now, the timeline of your wedding day is pretty much groundwork for everything that's going to happen. Now, having a decent timeline earlier on in the process is going to give you a good mental breakdown of what your day is going to look like, so you can start piecing together the puzzle into seeing the image, the vision of your wedding day. Number one rule when it comes to working on your timeline: add padding. Each event during the day is going to line up perfectly when you start piecing things together, but always make sure to add an extra 15, 20, 30 minutes to each big event. So let's say your makeup in the morning is going to take 45 minutes. Make it an hour. Something's going to happen. Something's going to run over. I've been shooting weddings for 12 years. I have over 500 weddings under my belt. I've never seen a timeline go perfectly, and that's totally okay and normal. So when you're looking at your timeline, by adding in 5, 10, 15 extra minutes to each event, it's always better to be running ahead than behind. If you're running ahead, that means your photographer and videographer get more time to make awesome photos and videos with you. If you're running behind, we have to cut things out of your wedding day, and that's never a fun thing to do. If you're in a metropolitan area, for example, I work mostly in Chicago. I love that I just pointed to Chicago like it was like right there next to me, just off screen. You're gonna want to add in extra time for travel, especially if your wedding day falls on a Friday or something similar, like a weekday. There's going to be a lot more traffic than you think it will. Make sure before you start really hashing out your final timeline, maybe a couple months in advance, make sure you're looking into the schedule. Is there a blues festival happening? Is there a marathon happening? What's going to be happening in your city that's going to hinder travel from going smoothly? So once you have your timeline, once you know where everything is happening and you know how long it takes from get to point A to point B to point C, yada, yada, add a little buffer time in that. Now, before I begin, I really need to say that every couple and every wedding day is different. While some of them look very similar on paper, maybe timeline-wise, everyone is different. So everything is going to be a little bit different depending on the couple, depending on the location, depending on the time of year. Everything comes into play into your timeline. And this is why it's so crucial to go over this early on in the process. So for grins and giggles, today we're going to take one of my average timelines that I get when I get to work with a wedding couple. We're going to start with prep in the morning. We're going to move into a first look, then a creative session, then the ceremony, then the reception. Don't be afraid if this doesn't match your timeline. Many weddings also do prep to ceremony, then the creative session, then to a reception. But most of the weddings that I do follow this type of order. Prep is the time of day when you're getting ready, the preparation. Typically for us, we like to have about 1.5 to 2 hours of prep time to film with. This allows us to get those details, your jewelry, your dress, your friends being around you, getting your makeup done, getting your hair done, getting all of that energy that your morning is having with your friends and family and the people closest to you, being able to get all that and then getting into your dress. Also take into account for your timing, do you have a zip-up dress or do you have a lace-back dress? Now the lace-backs are gonna take a lot longer than you think they will, so make sure you practice this ahead of time. I know your dress designer is already telling you this. Do it, trust me. Take the time, practice. Once you're in your dress, we wanna take some shots with you. We wanna get those beautiful, epic model-esque moments with you being just completely done up in your dress for the first time, and not gonna lie, that's a beautiful moment. I love asking my brides, when is it hitting you? When did it hit you that today is your wedding day? And typically it's right when the dress goes up and it's starting to be pulled together in the back and you see their eyes just kind of like look off in the distance, and it's that magical moment that I am so happy to be a part of, that I get to witness this one moment where this person is realizing that they are about to go walk hand in hand with their forever person for the rest of their lives. And it's a very cool moment. So on the guy's side of the day, typically we need about 1 to 1.5 hours, and typically that's kind of, while ladies are really energetic and they love to help each other out the whole day, guys tend to sit around playing Mario Kart and drinking. Now also, during the guy prep, we like to pose the gentleman in certain ways, and we like to say, now put on the coat, now take off the coat, now put it back on, just because we really want to get those moments perfect for you. So having that extra time in there of like an hour to an hour and a half allows us to get those really cool James Bond GQ shots, but also take in the atmosphere of everything that's happening in your morning. Then we travel to the first look. One of our videographers will set up the first look and having one person facing away in a different direction, while the other videographer follows the oncoming person. Typically it's a bride, but if you have a same-sex couple, it could be whoever. And I have a whole video right here on vendors, talks all about what a first look is, should you or should you not have a first look for your own wedding. So then we move into the creative session, and the creative session is typically called portraits or photo session, but since I don't do photo, I like to use the word creative because it allows the photographer and the videographer to be creative for you. And here is where we are going to get the grand majority of the footage for your film. These are hands down the most prettiest shots you will see in your wedding film. Yes, the emotional engagement of saying I do or having your first dance are very beautiful and they can be gorgeous to look at. The creative session is usually when we get those epic, beautiful motion picture movie-esque shots that you are going to drool over. Typically, I like to have about 2 or 3 hours for creative session, and that's from beginning to end. And that includes travel from point A to point B, depending on how many locations you have. The more locations you have, the longer time you really want to have this time frame. So having 3 hours for a creative session sounds like a long time, and in reality it is. 2 hours is that prime sweet spot if you want to hit a couple locations, like maybe a forest, maybe a downtown area. The less amount of locations you have to drive to, the more time we're going to be having filming you and getting those cool moments. So it's always my suggestion to find a really cool location that we can get different kinds of looks at, just in a very short walking distance. Now we're traveling to the ceremony. We like to be at the ceremony about 45 minutes to an hour before the ceremony starts, and this allows us to set up all our gear. This allows us to get all those really cool detail shots of the venue or a church or wherever you're getting married. You want to remember these small little moments and these small little details that you put so much work into, and we're going to be capturing all that to add an atmospheric feeling to your film. The ceremony is roughly about an hour, and let's be honest, even if your ceremony is half an hour, something's gonna go over a little bit. Then we lead into your reception. For video, leading into reception, we like to get about an hour before the reception starts. This allows us to get things set up like your audio, your lighting, your cameras, everything we're gonna need for the entire night ready to go. This also allows us to get all those details like your flowers, everything on the tables, the room as a whole, all those beautiful, magical, hard hours of work that you put into designing your reception, we want to showcase in your film. Not only is it really pretty to look at, but it also adds a lot of emotional element to your viewers who are going to watch this and go, holy cow, this is magical. If your reception starts about 7 p.m., grand entrance, you come in, you have an awesome time, you sit down, you have a meal, and you have your best man toast, your maid of honor toast, maybe your parents are gonna say something, and then you finish your meal and you wait for everyone else to finish their meal. Now it's like 9 o'clock. In this time frame, 9 o'clock is probably when you'd wanna do your first dance and parent dances, allowing for the open dance floor to be at 9:30 p.m. Now we can absolutely stay all night long if you would like us to. We can be there until they are cleaning up the room and you guys are heading on to your after party. But most of the time, a lot of my couples are concerned how long we need to stay. And it's my opinion that over the many years we've been shooting wedding films, if we're there for the first 30 minutes of open dance, it'll look like we were there all night. And here's the benefit of that. Not only is, as soon as open dance starts, everyone's gonna wanna come to the dance floor. It's fun, it's exciting, it's energetic, and as long as your wedding party is doing their job, and check out that video at Vendors where your wedding party is doing the job of getting people to the dance floor. People are gonna be more apt to stay at that point. Some of the older crowd will leave a little bit earlier than everyone else, so you're gonna have more time with the older crowd there. But also, you're not going to have people falling down drunk in your video, closer to like midnight-ish. So for us, being there for 30 minutes is a beautiful amount of time to get enough footage to show dancing and excitement and that energy of the evening. Now, sometimes at the end of that 30 minutes, we like to do a bouquet toss or a garter toss, and then I love to take my couples outside or to another quieter area and do something very beautiful with them, whether it's a sparkler exit with the wedding party or the whole guests, or something just very intimate with just those two, kind of reflecting on their whole day before they go back in there and dance the night away. I really hope this helps you guys out there, all you newly engaged couples. It's going to be an amazing, beautiful year. And if you keep watching us on Wedding Wednesdays, I'm going to be giving you a ton of amazing information. If you are in need of wedding videography, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We would love to hear your vision and be a part of your story. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. Make sure you download our free wedding checklist PDF guide in the show notes below. Again, tons of free information to help you plan your wedding. Also, be sure to watch our free educational video series, Vendors, where I interviewed the leading wedding industry professionals about all the questions you have about wedding planning and working with vendors, whether it be bands, DJs, florists, dress sellers, officiants, photographers, videographers, and so many more people in there. Not only the questions that you have, but also the questions you don't know to ask yet. There is so much information. Go check it out. You will be so happy you did, and wedding planning will no longer be a stress, it'll be a joy. Thank you so much for taking your time to watch this. I would love to know what questions you have about wedding video. Leave them down in the comments. Whether it's something you think might be super simple or super complex, I want to know because I want to help you guys out. And make sure you like, subscribe, and share these videos. The more subscriptions we have, the more we know we're doing a good job with these videos. Thank you again. My name's Jason from Night Owls Media and For Love Films, and congratulations.